I'm going to be making a review of the Silverball Museum in Asbery Park. Now, for those that know my channel, I am a pinball fan. I love pinball. I just can't wait to get myself my own pinball machine. Hopefully one day in the near future that will happen. Trying to track down places that have pinball machines is very, very hard in the tri-state area of New York City, New Jersey, and Connecticut. There's not that many arcades. I mean, they've long gone. There was a place I used to go to known as Sports World. I came across a website that was talking about Silverball Museum. I didn't even know it existed up until a week ago. I went ahead and visited the facility and spent about 4 hours there, which is pretty good. There are a few things I want to cover for like a kind of a review here. Pinball Selection is good and bad. It really depends on what kind of pinball fan you are. For instance, my father is a big fan of the old school pinball machines, so we're talking anything that was between the 70s and the 30s, which they have a great selection of. I would say about 75% of their pinball machines are old. I mean, we're talking predating the 80s, which is good. Again, it comes down to what type of pinball fanatic you are. Myself, I'm a pinball fan of anything that was released in the mid to late 80s on. So anything that's made by Pat Lawler, anything that's made by Gomez. I mean, these kind of machines I'm a big fan of, and most people are a big fan of them, such as Funhouse, Red and Ted's Roadshow. They have Addams Family Pinball. They have Demolition Man, Twilight Zone. So they have a lot of the big ones, including also Medieval Madness. What I want to cover here is the pros and cons of this place. We'll go over the good first. The good is I love the business model. I think it's something that arcades should have done years ago, and I think it would have kept arcades around much longer had they've gone with the business model of you pay to get in and you can play as much as you want. It is similar to, for instance, Six Flags, where you're not paying per ride, you're paying to get in. This place, every pinball machine is set to free play, which is good and bad. We'll cover that later. So you can definitely sit on the same machine and play it for as long as you want. The new machine they have there is the Wizard of Oz Pinball by Jersey Jack. That one, if there's anyone waiting in line, you only have one game and then you should let someone else play. That's just a rule. It also comes down to etiquette. Their selection, as I said, is good and bad. I'm really impartial to it. I personally believe that they are lacking, they're lacking a good selection of pinball machines, such as the Creature from the Black Lagoon. They're missing, Earthshaker, Whirlwind. I mean, they're missing a lot of good, well-known pinball machines. Jurassic Park. They're missing a lot of Data East pinballs. Terminator 2, they're missing. They're missing the Stern pinball machines, the new Sterns, which I really don't care because I don't like the new Stern machines. So, I mean, in that case, there's no balance between the genres or the generations of pinball machines, and I think I wish they did a better job with that. Now let's start going into the cons. The first con comes from when I walk in the door. They do not accept any major credit cards except for, it looks like they have in their window, American Express. I'm a Visa guy. Visa is accepted almost everywhere. The fact that they do not accept Visa, I believe, is a negative. They have a ATM in there, and to pay a $3 charge just to withdraw the $50 you need for a monthly pass, I think that's a problem. Pricing wise, I think they're very fair. It's an hour for $10. It's all day for $20. And if you shell out the $50, which I did, you get a monthly pass that's good for 30 days. And you can go in as many times as you want, and you can stay there all day. On top of that, you could always bring a +1 every day, which is awesome. And then on top of that, if let's say you and 3 friends go, your first friend is free, and each additional friend is 50% off. So they'll be paying $10 instead of $20 to stay there all day. I think that's excellent. Therefore, I believe they should. I'm for one that doesn't like to carry cash. I just wish they were, a little more, 21st century in that respect. The other issue is I happened to go when there was a birthday party. Big mistake. I wish they would have on their website if there's a birthday party going on or not. That way you can kind of judge it and say, you know what, since today there is a birthday party during the time that I would normally go, you know what, I'm not going to go that day. The problem is you have a lot of screaming kids, and, unfortunately, the group of kids that were there the day I went were obscenely loud, obnoxious, constantly like throwing the hockey pucks at each other from the air hockey table. They're an obnoxious bunch. The other issue is people, I'm blaming the kids on this one. Because everything's on free play, every time you hit the start button, it adds an additional player to the pinball machine. And these pinball machines have 4 players maximum. So most of the time I would go, okay, someone got off the pinball machine. Usually you get off the pinball machine when you're dead. You lost all your balls. Nope, it's some stupid kid who put 4 players on the game. They're all on ball 2, and this particular place sets it, instead of a 3 ball, they set it to 5. So, they're not even halfway done. So I spend about 10 minutes just pulling the plunger, doing a skill shot just so it goes straight down, and that way it can cycle through it. I wish, the people would have some sort of way of just resetting the game. Either, they say, hey, look, you have our permission to just power cycle the machine, because it's a waste of time for the person that just wants to play the machine and you want to start a fresh game. You don't want to finish up something that someone, just jumped from machine to machine, which it's a problem with anything that's free to play. I mean, you're gonna run into it, but I just believe that an adult isn't going to be as careless as a child. And I've just found that every other pinball machine table, every other machine I wanted to play, that was the case, where it was just in the middle of the game, and it's very aggravating that they do that, and as I said, it's the kids' fault. I don't believe it's the adults. So if they had a way to fix that would be excellent. Coming down to pinball quality, it's not as good as I read. A lot of people were telling me that the machines are shopped on a normal basis and that they're always in pristine condition. That is very far from the truth. There were a few pinball tables that were in very good shape, such as the brand new 2013, Wizard of Oz table. Yeah, it's in pristine condition because it's brand new. But, I was playing Funhouse, which is my absolute favorite pinball machine, and I noticed that a few of the lights are out. I noticed that the left flipper kept getting jammed every so often. And I found that on a few tables where the left, for some reason, it was the left flipper would get stuck up. Especially in the older tables, which, again, they have like 75% of the tables they have there are old. Those flippers don't work half the time. They're very weak, which obviously they need replacements on the solenoids, or, they definitely need some work. A lot of pinball machines they have also have Mylar, which I'm not a big fan of either. Mylar, for those who are old school, was something that they would apply so that we would kind of prolong the life of the play table. Problem is, Mylar would get air bubbles, and if it's not applied correctly, you would have ridges in the middle, so the ball would kind of follow that ridge and screw you up. So the game is not 100% fair. And I definitely think that that's a problem. And, for someone that says that this is their private collection, which is, I think, the owner of the place, this is his private collection, I think a little extra care should have been taken to make sure that these machines are tip-top shape, ready to play. I found that weak flippers were prevalent on a lot of other tables. I've noticed that there were broken opto sensors, especially on the Addams Family Pinball. If you wanted to start the multi-ball, you have to get it, thing has to pull 2 of them, and then you're supposed to get it into the swamp, and it triggers multi-ball. Problem is, you shoot it into the swamp, the machine didn't know the ball was in the swamp, so it's trying to find the ball. You can jerk the table, it's not going to do anything, so the ball is stuck. And that happened a lot on especially the newer pinball machines, the ones from the 90s. A lot of the sensors are either dead, broken, or they're in serious need of service. So what their game is, maybe they do it on a set schedule. I don't know, so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. But in my experience, it's nothing is more frustrating when the machine is not playing correctly. Twilight Zone didn't register when a ball went down the gutter, I would say. I forget the name of the part is, but half the time it would just sit there. So you'd jerk the machine, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, you lost your ball. Okay, next ball. Like things like that, I wasn't expecting from a place that is predominantly pinball. I mean, Silverball Museum, you would expect them to know their shit and get that stuff working. So all in all, it's definitely a great place. It's definitely a place I'm going to go to more often. Heck, I am going there this upcoming Saturday, which is the day after Black Friday. I will definitely be going there along with one of my friends. But, the thing is that I hope in the future, they correct a few things. I hope they listen to this review and take the constructive criticism and, improve, because I definitely think they have something great going there. I mean, it's definitely a place that I want to be there. Heck, the time flies by because I'm having fun. I'm enjoying myself. However, I think they should implement adult night only or adult days where there's no kids, because, as I said, I think the kids ruined the experience, especially my first experience. Again, I blame myself because, you know what, it was a birthday party there. But I also blame them for not, having some sort of way of knowing ahead of time, hey, look, that we do have a big birthday party. Because after the kids left, the place was awesome. There was like hardly any kids after they left. It was mostly adults, and I really enjoyed it because it was definitely a much better environment at that point. They also have a few arcade machines, some classic ones. Not a big selection, but again, this is not called the arcade. It's called Pinball. So definitely check it out. Link will be in the description for their website. It's in Asbury Park, New Jersey, right off of, I believe, 71. And it's definitely a great place. And off season, you don't even have to pay for parking, which is excellent. So definitely check them out. And if anyone out there wants to see me there, again, I'll be there on Saturday, the day after Black Friday, along with Andy. And we're looking at arriving there sometime between 11 or 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So take care. Look out for future videos.